The smoke pearl necklace had strangled every false princess who wore it. That was why the Dragon Court placed it around Elara Voss's throat. They did not drag her to a scaffold. They did not spill her blood on a public stone. They dressed her in a pale trial gown, combed the ash from her hair, stood her beneath the black glass dome of the royal court, and called it a test of truth. If her blood carried royal fire, the pearls would stay white until dawn. If her claim was false, smoke would fill them, the strand would tighten, and the court would watch her lie choke itself out of her body. The court loved clean punishments. Elara stood very still as royal Uncle Lucien Veyr lifted the necklace from its silver box. The pearls were beautiful in the cruel way forbidden things often were. 21 round stones, pale as moonlit bone, each one larger than a tear and cold enough that frost gathered along Lucien's fingers. Thin silver links joined them together, etched with dragon runes so small they looked like scratches. At the center hung one larger pearl, almost transparent, with a curl of gray smoke sleeping inside it. Elara had seen smoke like that before, not in fire, in mirrors after royal executions. Meron smiled at the court as if he were grieving for her already. Elara Voss, ward of uncertain blood, accused of false royal lineage and unlawful proximity to the dragon throne, you will wear the smoke pearl necklace until the third bell. Ward of uncertain blood. That was what they called a girl, when they wanted to avoid saying princess. Elara had been raised in the outer wing of the palace, near the rooms where old banners were stored and unwanted relatives were forgotten. She had no official title, no inheritance seal, no place at royal feasts unless someone needed a body to fill a chair. The late Queen Isolde had taken her in as a child, but died before naming why. After that, Meron had called Elara a kindness the palace could no longer afford. Still, he kept her close. Not loved, observed. She learned early that suspicion could be another kind of cage. She was allowed lessons, but never lineage. Allowed gowns, but only faded ones. Allowed to stand near the throne during winter ceremonies, but never close enough for the court to wonder why the old dragon statues turned their heads when she passed. They did turn, only slightly. Only when no one important was meant to be watching. Elara had spent years pretending not to notice. Tonight, pretending had ended. At the far end of the court, Dragon King Lucien Veyr sat beneath a canopy of black dragon bone. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and still as a blade held at the throat. His dark hair fell loose around a face shaped by command and sleepless restraint. His eyes were gold, but not warm gold. They burned like banked embers, dangerous because they had learned patience. Behind him, where a dragon king's beast shadow should have risen, there was nothing, only an empty curve of darkness. That absence had ruled the kingdom for 12 years. Lucien Veyr, crowned young after his father's death, had never completed a royal transformation. The court said his dragon slept from grief. Foreign courts said his blood had weakened. Meron said only that the king's fire required guidance, and for 12 years he had stood at Lucien's side with a hand on the laws, the armies, and every ritual that touched royal blood. Lucien watched Elara now without expression, but his fingers gripped the arm of his throne. Myron saw it. So did Elara. Majesty, Meron said gently. The trial requires silence from the throne. Lucien's gaze did not leave the necklace. Does it? A ripple moved through the nobles. Meron bowed his head. Soul jewelry listens poorly when kings interfere. Soul jewelry. Elara felt the word settle coldly against her skin before the necklace even touched her. The priestess beside Meron stepped forward. Kneel. Elara looked at the black floor beneath her. It reflected her pale face, her too thin shoulders, her gray eyes, and the necklace in Meron's hand. She did not kneel. The court sharpened around her. Meron's smile thinned. Child, I can lower my head without pretending your mercy is holy, Elara said. A silence followed so complete she could hear one pearl, click softly against another. Lucien's mouth changed. Not a smile. Something closer to recognition. Mayron stepped close enough for Elara to smell winter smoke on his robes. Pride is dangerous in girls who have no proof. So is fear, Elara whispered. In men who have too much. His eyes hardened. Then the mask returned. He placed the smoke pearl necklace around her throat. The cold struck first. Not at the skin. Deeper. As if the pearls were looking for a place inside her body where something royal might be hiding. The center pearl settled at the hollow of her throat, its sleeping smoke turning slowly once, then stilling. Nothing happened. The court exhaled. Someone near the noble benches laughed softly. Mayron lifted his hands. The first silence is expected. False blood often resists before it reveals itself. Elara kept breathing. Slowly, carefully, Lucien rose from his throne. The hall stilled. Mayron turned. Majesty? Lucien descended one step from the dais. Why is the center pearl smoking already? Every face turned back to Elara's throat. The center pearl was no longer clear. Black smoke had begun to gather inside it, coiling like something waking in a very small prison. The necklace tightened. Elara's breath caught. Mayron's expression did not change quickly enough. Residual memory, he said. The necklace has judged many false claimants. Lucien took another step. Then why does it look afraid? The pearl pulsed. A sound moved through the hall. Not aloud. Inside the bones, a low, distant drag of chains. Elara's knees weakened. The smoke inside the pearls thickened, spreading from the center stone into the others one by one. Each pearl filled with blackness, not empty smoke, but moving shapes. Scales. A claw. A closed eye. A wing bent at an impossible angle. The necklace tightened again. This time, Elara choked. Lucien moved. Mayron lifted one hand sharply. Do not touch her. Lucien stopped at the edge of the trial circle. Every muscle held under dangerous control. Remove it. If I remove it before judgment finishes, the false blood may rupture. Elara clawed at the necklace, but the pearls burned cold against her fingers. Inside the center stone, the black smoke formed one huge golden eye. It opened. Lucien went white. Not with fear for her. With recognition. The golden eye inside the pearl looked straight at him. The empty shadow behind the Dragon King stirred for the first time in 12 years. A growl shook the black glass dome. Mayron whispered, Impossible. The pearls filled completely with smoke. Then the necklace projected its vision into the air above Elara. An enormous black dragon chained beneath the palace, wings pinned by silver links, jaws bound shut, fire locked behind its teeth. The court screamed. Lucien stared at the vision, as if his own heart had been dragged out and displayed. Elara could barely breathe, but she saw the dragon's eye move from Lucien to her, not begging, recognizing. The smoke pearl necklace did not tighten to kill her. It opened around her throat like a key, and beneath the palace, the Dragon King's chained beast began to wake. The Dragon King's chained beast woke beneath the palace. Not fully, not yet, but enough for the entire black glass court to feel the first movement of something ancient turning in its prison. The floor trembled under their feet. The dragon bone canopy above Lucien's throne creaked as if remembering wings. Every torch along the walls bent sideways. Flames pulled toward the vision hanging over Elara's head. Inside that vision, the black dragon strained against silver chains. Its wings were pinned to a cavern floor far below the palace. Its jaws were bound shut by a band of pale metal carved with Veyr runes. Its claws had gouged trenches into the stone from years of trying to rise. Smoke rolled from its nostrils, but no fire escaped. Lucien stood at the edge of the trial circle, motionless. Only his eyes betrayed him. The gold in them had gone raw. Elara, he said. Her name sounded different in his mouth now. Not ward, not false claimant, not child. Her name, pulled through shock, and something darker. She tried to answer, but the smoke pearl necklace tightened again. Her breath broke. The vision flickered. The chained dragon threw its head against the muzzle. A growl shook the hall hard enough to crack one of the black mirrors behind the noble benches. Mayron moved quickly. End the projection. The priestess reached for Elara. Lucien's voice cut through the court. Touch her and lose the hand. The priestess froze. Mayron turned slowly toward his nephew. Majesty, the necklace has entered a dangerous stage. If the ward's false blood keeps forcing images into the pearls, the soul jewelry may turn on everyone in this hall. Elara clutched at the necklace. Cold burned into her throat. The pearls were not choking her like a noose now. They were searching, pulling, listening to something under her skin that she did not know how to name. Lucien stepped closer. The trial circle flared black smoke between them. The pearls hissed. Mayron raised his hand. Do you see? It reacts to royal fire. Stay back. Lucien did not look at him. Why does my dragon appear inside her necklace? The question struck the court harder than the vision had. His dragon. He had said it. Not the beast. Not the apparition. My dragon. Mayron's face softened into practiced sorrow. Because the necklace knows what a false claimant wants most. It shows stolen desire. A girl near the throne dreams of royal beasts. It is not unusual. Elara forced air through her throat. Then, why did you say impossible? Mayron went still. A murmur spread through the nobles. Lucien's gaze sharpened. Elara should have stopped. Pain pulsed through her neck. Every word made the pearls tighten. But fear had already taken so much from her life that silence felt like giving it another room. When the eye opened, she whispered, You said impossible. Mayron smiled faintly. Pain makes memory unreliable. No, Lucien said. The hall quieted. He took another step toward the smoke barrier. It flared again, but he did not move back. She heard correctly. The empty shadow behind him stirred. Only slightly. A ripple of darkness across the floor. The chained dragon in the vision lifted its head at the same moment. Elara felt the movement inside her bones, not as power, as recognition. The center pearl at her throat filled with gold light around the black smoke. A shape surfaced inside it, a smaller image, not of the dragon now, but of a chamber deep beneath the palace, an iron cradle. A boy with blood on his nightshirt. A man standing over him with a pearl necklace wrapped around both hands. Mayron. Younger. Lucien saw it too. His face lost all color. The vision vanished before the court could understand. Mayron struck the floor with his crystal ring. A sharp sound cracked through the hall, and every pearl on the necklace turned white for one heartbeat. Elara screamed. Not from the necklace tightening. From the memory being shoved back into her. The black smoke rushed inward, filling her mouth, her ears, her chest. The court disappeared behind a veil of pearl white light. Lucien shouted her name. Then, Elara fell, not onto the floor, into the necklace. She landed on her hands and knees in darkness that smelled of smoke, salt, and old dragon fire. The ground beneath her was not stone. It was pearl, smooth and curved, as if she stood inside one of the beads. Around her, walls of milky white stretched upward, threaded with black smoke veins. A chain dragged somewhere far away, slow, heavy, alive. Elara forced herself to stand. Lucien, she whispered. No answer. Only the chain again. Then a voice came from the smoke. Not Lucien. Elara turned. A woman stood near the curved wall, half formed from black mist and pearl light. Her hair drifted around her like smoke underwater. Her face was elegant, tired, and familiar in a way that made Elara's chest hurt before she understood why. The woman looked at the necklace around Elara's throat, though Elara no longer knew whether she wore it or stood inside it. You opened the pearl from the living side, the woman said. Elara swallowed. Who are you? The woman's expression softened. Someone, Meron, made silent before you learned my name. The smoke around her shifted. For an instant, Elara saw a nursery chamber, a queen bending over a child, a pearl bracelet on her wrist filling with black smoke. Then the vision broke. Elara's hands shook. Queen Isolde. The woman's eyes closed. Pain passed through her. So Elara was right. The dead queen who had taken her in. The woman who had never explained why. The court had said Isolde died of fever, but the smoke around her wrists looked like chains. Outside, faint through the pearl walls, Lucien's voice thundered. "Release her!" Marin answered, distant and calm. "The necklace is judging her." Queen Isolde's ghost looked toward the sound. "No, it is choosing whether to remember." A deep growl rolled through the pearl darkness. The curved wall before Elara turned transparent. Beyond it lay the chained black dragon beneath the palace, far larger than the vision had shown. Its golden eye opened, blazing through smoke and pain. One silver chain ran from its throat upward, through the pearl where Elara stood. Another ran into the darkness behind Queen Isolde. Elara stepped closer to the wall. The dragon looked at her, not like a beast seeing prey, like a prisoner seeing a key it was afraid to trust. Queen Isolde whispered, "Do not touch the chain yet." "Why?" "Because Marin tied more than Lucien's dragon into this necklace." The pearl floor brightened. Around Elara's feet, other shadows appeared inside smaller pearls. A wing, a claw, a child's cry, a woman's hand pressed against glass, a royal beast's eye closing as smoke poured over it. Elara understood with horror. The smoke pearl necklace was not a test for false princesses. It was a prison. Outside, Meron's voice sharpened. "If the vision continues, remove the necklace by force." Queen Isolde looked at Elara. "If they tear it off now, every soul, beast trapped inside, will lose its name." Elara's throat tightened. "What do I do?" The queen touched the pearl wall. One word, formed in smoke. "Witness." The dragon's golden eye narrowed, not in threat, but in agony. A memory opened inside the pearl. Young Lucien, no older than 12, kneeling beside his father's body. His dragon shadow should have risen in grief and fire behind him. Instead, Meron stood close, the smoke pearl necklace wrapped around his hands. Black smoke poured from Lucien's chest into the center pearl, while the boy screamed without sound. Meron whispered, "A king with a beast is dangerous. A king with a missing beast is grateful." The memory shattered. Elara gasped. Outside, the same words bled across the pearls around her throat in black smoke. "A king with a missing beast is grateful." The court saw them. Lucien saw them. Meron's face finally cracked. And inside the necklace, the first silver chain around the dragon's throat began to glow. The first silver chain around the dragon's throat began to glow. Inside the smoke pearl necklace, the light was not beautiful. It was the color of pain forced to remember its own name. It ran along the chain, link by link, from the black dragon's bound throat, through the pearl wall and into the curved floor beneath Elara's feet. Every link carried smoke-etched runes. Not court runes. Not blessing marks. Locks. Queen Isolde stood beside her in the pearl darkness, half-formed and trembling. "Do not pull it," she warned. Elara stared at the dragon beyond the transparent wall. "It is choking him." "Yes, then why not break it?" "Because Meron made the chain from stolen names. Break it, without witness, and the beast may wake without knowing whom it belongs to." The dragon's golden eye closed for one breath, as if shame could reach even a creature that large. Elara understood too quickly. A beast without a name could be called monster. A king without a beast could be ruled. A necklace full of nameless royal souls could become a weapon in any patient hand. Outside, the court's roar came faintly through the pearl walls. Lucien's voice cut through it. "Meron," one word, but the pearl around Elara shook. Meron answered with wounded calm. Majesty, the necklace reflects hostile magic. Do not let smoke. Script frightened the court. A king with a missing beast is grateful, Lucien said. Those are not her words. They are the necklace using your grief. They are your words. Silence followed. Inside the pearl, the dragon's chain brightened again. Queen Isolde turned toward the sound, her face full of grief. He remembers the room now. Elara looked at her. Lucien? He was a child when Marin took the dragon. Children survive by burying what no one will believe. The pearl floor opened into another memory. Lucien, younger than Elara had ever imagined him, stood barefoot in a nursery chamber of black stone. Blood marked the front of his nightshirt. His father lay beyond the doorway, hidden beneath a fallen banner. Young Lucien's eyes burned gold with grief, and behind him a dragon shadow rose, furious and huge, ready to tear the palace apart in mourning. Then Mayron entered. Not frantic, not grieving, prepared. He held the smoke pearl necklace between both hands. The pearls were white then, empty and shining. He spoke a command into them, and black smoke poured from the necklace like a living net. It wrapped around the dragon shadow's jaws, wings, and throat. Young Lucien screamed. No sound came out. The smoke swallowed the dragon's roar before it reached the hall. Mayron knelt before the boy and touched his cheek with terrible tenderness. You will thank me one day. A child with that much fire would burn his own throne. The dragon shadow was pulled into the center pearl. Lucien collapsed. The memory shattered. Elara pressed one hand to her mouth. Beyond the pearl wall, the chained dragon opened his eye again. Not just Lucien's beast, Lucien's grief, Lucien's rage, Lucien's true royal fire, trapped before it could choose what kind of king he would become. Outside, Lucien's voice was quieter now, more dangerous for it. You took him the night my father died, Marin replied. I saved you from becoming your father, the court murmured. There was Mayron's motive, polished and ready. Not power alone. Fear. History. A royal uncle who had seen dragon kings destroy halls in rage and decided obedience was safer than fire. Lucien said, You made me dependent on you. I made you survivable. Inside the necklace, Queen Isolde's form flickered with anger. He always used survival like a chain. Elara looked at the glowing chain around the dragon's throat. How do I witness him? Isolde touched the pearl wall. Smoke gathered under her fingers and shaped itself into a single sentence. One beast. One name. One witness. Elara read it aloud. The dragon's golden eye fixed on her. Isolde nodded. Start with his name. Elara swallowed. I don't know it. The chain dimmed. Outside, Mayron's voice sharpened. Remove the necklace, the priestess whispered. My lord, the pearls are still projecting. Then cut the clasp. Elara felt cold fingers touch the back of her neck from the outer world. The necklace tightened violently. Inside the pearl, cracks spread across the floor. Isolde grabbed Elara's wrist. If they cut it now, the chain will seal deeper. Elara fought for air. Lucien! The name broke through both worlds. Outside, she heard movement. Then a crash. The priestess screamed. Lucien's voice thundered. No one touches the clasp. Mayron's answer came like steel under silk. You would risk the court for a girl whose blood has not been proven? She showed me my dragon. She showed you what you wanted. Inside the pearl, Elara looked at the dragon again. One beast. One name. One witness. She pressed both palms to the transparent wall. Tell me your name. The dragon did not move. The chain around its throat pulsed. A name had been locked there, not forgotten. Elara felt it trapped behind silver, buried under Mayron's command. Queen Isolde stepped forward. He may not be able to speak it. Then, who can? Isolde's expression broke. I can. The pearl darkness stilled. Elara turned to her. The queen's smoke-bound form lifted one trembling hand toward the dragon. I named him the night Lucien was born. His father wanted a war name. Meyron wanted a throne name. I gave him a soul name, so the beast would know the boy before the crown. Elara's throat tightened. What was it? Isolde closed her eyes. Veyr, the black dragon roared. This time, sound tore through the necklace and into the court. Every pearl around Elara's throat flared with gold fire under black smoke. The vision above her sharpened until the entire hall saw the chained beast clearly. Veyr, royal dragon of Lucien Veyr, named by Queen Isolde, imprisoned by Meyron's smoke pearls. Elara spoke, voice shaking but clear. Veyr, beast of Lucien Veyr, named by his mother, taken the night his father died, not missing, chained. The first silver chain cracked. Not broken, cracked. Lucien staggered outside the trial circle, one hand flying to his chest. Behind him, the empty darkness where his dragon shadow should have been filled with a thin outline of wings. The court cried out. Meyron went pale. Then the necklace punished Elara for naming what it had been built to hide. The cracked chain lashed through the pearl wall and wrapped around her throat from the inside. She fell to her knees in the smoke world. Outside, her body did the same. Lucien lunged toward the circle. The smoke barrier threw him back. Meyron seized the moment. You see? The beast attacks through her. The ward is not revealing him. She is binding him to herself. The court turned toward Elara in fear. Inside the necklace, the chain tightened. Veyr strained against his prison. But if he pulled, the chain cut deeper into her throat. Elara understood Meyron's design. Every truth would cost her body. Every rescue could be made to look like danger. Queen Isolde knelt beside her. Hold your name. Elara choked on smoke. Elara Voss. The chain tightened. Ward of uncertain blood. Meyron shouted outside. False claimant. Smoke vessel. The words pressed through the pearl. Elara's reflection appeared in the curved wall. Pale face, gray eyes, necklace at her throat, but her features began to blur under smoke. Queen Isolde's voice cut through it. Not his words. Yours. Elara dug her nails into the pearl floor. Elara Voss, she forced out, raised in the outer wing, taken in by Queen Isolde. Not false because Meyron refused to name me. The pearl wall steadied. The chain loosened a fraction. Isolde's eyes filled with tears. Again, Elara Voss, she said, stronger now. I witness Veyr. I do not bind him. I do not claim him. I reveal what was chained. The first chain cracked wider. Outside, Lucien rose slowly from the floor. His voice was low enough to frighten the hall into silence. She is not binding him. Meyron turned. You cannot know that. Lucien's half-formed dragon shadow lifted behind him. Its golden eye opened. I know because when she said his name, I remembered mine. I know because when she said his name, I remembered mine. Lucien's words struck the black glass court harder than any dragonfire could have. For one suspended breath, no one moved. The nobles stared at their king, as if they were seeing him outside the shape Meyron had spent 12 years carving around him. Controlled, contained, grateful, incomplete. The empty darkness behind Lucien was no longer empty. A thin dragon shadow stretched there now, half-formed and trembling, one golden eye open inside the smoke. Veyr. The name moved through the hall like heat under stone. Elara knelt inside the trial circle, one hand gripping the pearls at her throat. Inside the necklace, the silver chain had loosened just enough for her to breathe. Not freely, not safely, but enough. Smoke still crawled over her skin and blurred the edges of her reflection in the curved pearl wall. Queen Isolde's ghost held her wrist. Do not stop, the queen whispered. Elara looked through the transparent pearl wall toward the chained dragon. Veilthar's golden eye was fixed on Lucien outside. but every movement he made dragged the silver chain tighter around Elara's throat. Meyron had built the prison cruelly. If the dragon fought, Elara paid. If Lucien reached, the necklace called it proof that she controlled him. If Elara revealed more, the chain punished her body. Outside, Meyron stepped forward, voice calm again because fear had given him a sharper mask. You see the danger now. The ward speaks a beast's name, and the king's mind bends toward her. Lucien turned slowly. My mind? You were destabilized by grief the night your father died. Your beast nearly burned the eastern wing. I contained what you could not. The half-formed dragon shadow behind Lucien snarled. The sound was faint, but every torch bent away from it. Meyron lifted one hand toward the court. Ask yourselves why the beast answers through her throat. Ask why the necklace tightens when she names it. Ask why a girl of uncertain blood stands inside soul jewelry and calls a royal dragon as if it were hers. Elara forced herself upright inside the pearl. Pain flared. The chain tightened again. She tasted smoke and iron. I did not call him as mine, she said. Her voice carried through the pearls into the hall, thinner than Meyron's, but steadier than fear wanted it to be. I named him as Lucien's. The center pearl blazed gold-black. Veyr drew one breath against his muzzle. The chain around Elara's throat crackled with silver light, but did not close. Queen Isolde nodded. Good. Witness, not claim. Meyron's eyes narrowed. Pretty words, but soul jewelry does not lie. It reacts because her blood is compatible with the prison. Elara looked at him. Compatible because my blood opens it. No, he said. Because your blood belongs inside it, the court murmured. There it was. The next cage. False princess had failed, so Meyron offered them another name. Smoke vessel. Lucien took one step toward his uncle. Explain. Meyron's face softened, almost sorrowful. Majesty. Forbidden lines once served the throne by carrying unstable royal beasts. Smoke pearl women were not heirs. They were containment blood. Your mother pitied them. She took this girl in, perhaps hoping kindness could make a vessel harmless. Queen Isolde's ghost went rigid. Elara felt the pearl floor under her hands turn cold. Containment blood. The phrase tried to settle over her skin like another necklace. Isolde's fingers tightened around Elara's wrist. That is the lie he used after he failed to kill the line. Elara looked at her. Then show them. The queen's eyes filled with grief. Not yet. First, the beast's second chain. Elara turned back to Veyr. The first chain around his throat had cracked, but many more held him. One around his jaws, one through each wing, one across his chest, and a final black-silver chain disappearing into the smoke behind the dragon, leading somewhere Elara could not see. Each chain had to be named. One beast. One name. One witness. Elara pressed her palm to the pearl wall. What is the next chain? The wall clouded. A memory opened. Lucien as a child, older than in the first memory, standing before the court after his coronation. He wore a crown too large for his head and a grief too large for his body. Meyron stood beside him, one hand on his shoulder. When a rival lord demanded proof of royal transformation, Lucien's dragon shadow stirred. Then pain crossed the boy's face. Inside the smoke pearl necklace hidden beneath Meyron's robes, Veyr slammed against his chains. Meyron whispered. Still, the chain around the dragon's jaws tightened. Young Lucien opened his mouth to command fire. No sound came. Meyron spoke for him instead. The king's silence is strength. The court bowed. The memory ended. Elara touched her own mouth. The jaw chain, she whispered. Queen Isolde's face hardened. He stole Lucien's command. Outside, the same memory appeared inside 3 pearls around Elara's throat, enlarged for the hall to see. Nobles gasped, as young Lucien's mouth moved soundlessly, while Meyron answered in his place. Lucien stared at the image. His face went still in a way that made even Mehran hesitate. "You spoke for me. I guided you," Mehran said. "You took my command before I knew how to use it. I prevented a grieving child from burning men who would have turned against him." Lucien's voice lowered. "And when I became a man?" Mehran did not answer. He did not need to. Elara placed both hands to the pearl wall. Smoke burned her palms. The silver chain around Veythar's jaws glowed. "Veythar," she said. "Beast of Lucien Veyr. Jaw sealed on coronation night. Command stolen by Mehran Veyr. Not silent. Muzzled." The chain around Veythar's jaws cracked. Lucien inhaled sharply outside the circle. Behind him, the dragon shadow's mouth opened for the first time. A low growl escaped. The hall trembled. Elara smiled despite the pain. Then the cracked jaw chain lashed through the smoke and wrapped around her own mouth. Her lips sealed shut. Panic exploded in her chest. Inside the pearl, she clawed at the chain. Outside, her body choked soundlessly, hands flying to her throat and mouth. The court recoiled as if the very sight proved Mehran right. Mehran seized the moment. Every chain she names binds her closer. She is not freeing the dragon. She is replacing his prison with herself. Lucien moved toward the circle. The smoke barrier flared. He stopped, shaking with restraint. Elara could not speak. Her reflection in the pearl wall blurred again. Her mouth vanished into smoke. Queen Isolde cupped Elara's face. Names are not only spoken. Elara's eyes burned. The queen pressed Elara's hand against the pearl wall. "Right." Elara dragged one shaking finger through the black smoke. "A." The chain around her mouth tightened. She kept writing. "Le." Pain flooded her jaw. "A Telm." Her vision blurred. "Is Anai?" Inside the pearl, Veythar's golden eye burned brighter. "A-T." The name glowed across the wall. Elara. Her mouth returned in her reflection. The chain around her lips loosened. She wrote again. Harder this time. "Witness." The pearl wall flared. Outside, the same word appeared across the center pearl in black smoke and gold fire. Lucien saw it. His expression changed. Not relief exactly, but a recognition so deep it seemed to reach the boy Mehran had silenced. He turned to the court. "She writes her own name while his chain seals her mouth." The nobles looked from Elara to Mehran. Doubt spread. Small, but real. Mehran's face darkened. Enough of this theater. He lifted his signet hand. All 21 pearls around Elara's throat pulsed at once. Inside the necklace, every chain connected to Veythar tightened. The dragon roared, but the jaw chain still held enough to twist the sound into pain. Queen Isolde staggered. Elara fell to one knee. The pearl walls around her opened into dozens of smaller visions. Other beasts, other shadows, other royal souls trapped in pearls. A hawk with smoke-bound wings, a wolf with a chain through its heart, a child's dragon eye sealed in a bracelet. The necklace was only the visible piece of a larger system. Mehran's voice filled both worlds. Soul jewelry protects thrones from beasts that love too fiercely, rage too easily, choose too dangerously. Elara forced herself to stand. The smoke pearl necklace burned against her throat. "No, not burned," answered. A mark appeared beneath her collarbone, faint at first. A ring of tiny smoke pearls, shaped like a crescent around a black flame. Queen Isolde looked at it and began to cry. "Elara," she whispered. "Your blood remembers." The mark brightened. The chains stopped tightening for one breath. Outside, the court saw it through her trial gown. Mehran went pale. Lucien's eyes locked on the mark. "What is she?" Queen Isolde's voice rose through the pearls, clear enough for the entire court to hear. "Not a vessel." The necklace opened every pearl at once. Black smoke spiraled upward, forming the shape of women standing in a circle with pearl marks at their throats. Isolde's voice shook with pride and grief. "She is smoke, pearl blood. the last heir of the line that reveals royal beasts imprisoned inside soul jewelry. The dragon behind Lucien lifted its half-formed head. Elara's mark flared like a black star, and the hidden chamber beneath the palace answered, with the sound of hundreds of chains waking. The hidden chamber beneath the palace answered with the sound of hundreds of chains waking. Not one chain, hundreds. The noise rose through the black glass floor like a storm trapped under stone. The court staggered as every mirror in the hall clouded with smoke. The dragon bone canopy above Lucien's throne groaned. Along the walls, old soul jewels set into royal statues began to darken pearl eyes, pearl claws, pearl crowns, pearl rings on sculpted hands, each one filled with black smoke. Elara stood inside the trial circle with the smoke pearl necklace burning cold against her throat. The mark beneath her collarbone glowed brighter now, tiny smoke pearls forming a crescent around a black flame. The sight should have made her feel powerful. Instead, it terrified her. The necklace had revealed what she was, but it had also woken every prison tied to her bloodline. Inside the pearl world, Queen Isolde's smoke-formed hand still held hers. "Do not reach for all of them," Isolde warned. Elara looked through the curved pearl walls. Beyond Veythar's chained body, shapes stirred in the distance. Beasts trapped in smaller pearls, shadowed cages, smoke-bound wings and muzzled jaws. Not all dragons. Some were wolves, some birds of prey, some creatures Elara did not have names for. All royal soul beasts. All silent. "What did Mehran do?" Elara whispered. "Made fear into jewelry," Isolde said. "One beast at a time. Outside." Mehran lifted his voice before the court could understand too much. "You see the danger. Smoke. Pearl blood wakes every trapped beast it touches. The line was forbidden because it does not reveal prisons. It opens them." Elara turned toward him from inside the smoke. "That is not true." Mehran's eyes fixed on her mark. "Then why do the chains answer you?" Before Elara could speak, every pearl on the necklace flashed. A vision opened above the trial circle. Women stood in a circle in an ancient chamber, their throats marked with the same smoke pearl crescent. Before them knelt a wounded prince whose beast shadow was trapped inside a black pearl ring. One woman touched the ring and whispered, "Witness first. Release only what the soul can return to." The beast shadow flowed back into the prince. Slowly, name by name, memory by memory. The vision shifted. The same women years later, chained before a council. Mehran, younger but already cold-eyed, stood beside a table covered in soul jewelry. "They can undo containment," one counselor said. Mehran answered, "Then call containment protection, and call them thieves." The vision shattered. The court murmured. Mehran's face hardened. A dying order's memory proves nothing. Lucien stepped closer to the trial circle. His half-formed dragon shadow stood behind him now, thinner than it should have been, but present. Its jaw chain was cracked. One golden eye burned through smoke. "It proves you knew what she was. I knew what her blood could become." "You mean what it could expose?" Mehran's gaze cut to him. "And what it could unleash. You think Veythar is the only beast your ancestors feared? Royal beasts do not merely love their kings, they rage for them. They remember every humiliation, every betrayal, every blood debt. Soul jewelry made rulers safe enough to rule." Lucien's mouth tightened. Safe for whom? For everyone beneath them. The answer was too smooth. Elara felt its danger. Mehran was not lying completely. That was what made him frightening. A king's beast could destroy, a dragon's grief could burn halls, a wolf's rage could tear armies apart. Mehran had taken a real fear and used it to justify stealing souls. Inside the pearl world, Veythar strained against his chains. Elara saw the next chain clearly now, a thick silver band across the dragon's chest. It pulsed with Lucien's heartbeat. Queen Isolde followed her gaze. That is the obedience chain. What does it hold? Choice. Outside, Meryn raised his signet hand. The chest chain tightened around Veyr, and Lucien's body jerked as if something invisible had wrapped around his ribs. "Elara," Lucien said, through clenched teeth. "Do not let him make this about fear alone." The words reached her through smoke and pain. Do not let him make this about fear alone. That was the path. Elara pressed her palm to the pearl wall. One beast, one name, one witness. The necklace trembled. Meryn's eyes narrowed. Elara looked at Veyr. Not all the chains. One. The pearl world steadied. The smoke around the chest chain cleared. A memory opened. Lucien, at 17, no longer a child, standing in the war court while border envoys demanded retaliation for a raid. His hands were clenched, his face young and furious. Behind him, Veylthyr's shadow tried to rise. The dragon did not want massacre. It wanted to fly to the border itself and see the truth before fire was ordered. Meryn stood beside Lucien with a pearl signet ring on his hand. He turned the ring once. Inside the smoke pearl necklace hidden under his robe, Veythyr's chest chain tightened. Lucien's anger vanished from his face. Not calmed. Removed. Meryn leaned close and whispered, "A king who hesitates looks weak. Speak." Lucien ordered fire on the border village. The memory shifted. Afterward, Lucien stood alone in his chamber, hands shaking, ash on his cloak. "I do not remember choosing those words," he said. Meryn placed a hand on his shoulder. "That is grief." The memory ended. Lucien stood in the present like a man struck through the heart. The court had seen it. Some nobles looked away. Some did not. Elara's voice shook. "Veyr, beast of Lucien Veyr, chest bound by obedience chain, choice stolen in war court, not unstable, controlled." The chest chain cracked. Lucien gasped. His dragon shadow expanded behind him, wings flickering wider, smoke pouring from the broken line across its chest. But the cracked chain lashed back. Inside the necklace, it struck Elara across the ribs. She doubled over. Outside, her body did the same. One hand pressed to her side as smoke spread beneath her gown like bruising. Meryn pointed. "There." Each chain she opens ties the beast closer to her body. She becomes his second prison. Elara could not answer. Pain stole her breath. Lucien moved toward the circle again. This time, the smoke barrier did not throw him back immediately. It bent around him. Recognizing Veythyr's half-returned shadow, Meryn saw it. His expression sharpened with alarm. Lucien stopped just outside the barrier. "Elara, look at me." She lifted her head. His face was pale with rage and guilt. "Do not carry what belongs to me." "I am not trying to." "I know." The words steadied her. In a court that wanted to call her thief, vessel, false princess, or key, the Dragon King said he knew. That mattered. Inside the pearl world, Queen Isolde whispered, "Witness needs anchor." Elara understood. Not touch. Not claim. Choice. She pressed her palm to the barrier from inside the circle. Lucien lifted his hand from outside it, not touching through the smoke, only matching the place where her fingers rested. The chest chain loosened around her ribs. The court saw it. Meryn did too. His face turned cold. "Sentiment is how beasts choose masters." Elara forced herself upright. "No. Choice is how they return home." The necklace pulsed. A second pearl cracked, not breaking, but opening like an eye. From deep beneath the palace, another chain answered not Veythyr's. Smaller, fainter, tied to Queen Isolde's smoke-bound wrist. Elara looked at the ghost beside her. The queen's face changed. "Elara," she said. "Not mine yet." But the necklace had already shown the next truth. A vision rose over the court. Queen Isolde years ago, standing before Meryn with the infant Elara in her arms. The queen wore a smoke pearl bracelet on her wrist. Inside the bracelet, something dark and winged beat weakly against the pearl. Meryn said, "If you hide the child, I will seal what remains of you." Isolde held the infant tighter. "Then seal me." "Not her." He touched the bracelet. Black smoke swallowed the queen's wrist. The vision broke. Elara stared at Isolde. "You saved me." Isolde's eyes filled with smoke and tears. "I tried." Meryn's voice cut across the hall. "She saved a forbidden vessel line that should have ended." Lucien turned toward him. "Why?" For the first time, Meryn did not answer quickly. The smoke pearl necklace answered for him. All 21 pearls filled with black fire. A memory opened beneath every noble's feet. A royal birth chamber. Queen Isolde kneeling beside a dying woman with Elara's gray eyes. The woman wore the smoke pearl crescent mark at her throat. In her arms was a newborn girl. "Elara," the dying woman whispered, "if Meryn finds her, he will use her to unlock every beast he has chained." Isolde asked, "What is her name?" "Elara," the woman said. "Elara of the smoke pearl line, last heir." Then Meryn entered the chamber with guards. The vision vanished before the blood began. The court stood silent. Elara could barely breathe. Her mother, her true mother, not a false claimant, not a ward by accident, not uncertain blood. A hidden princess of the forbidden smoke pearl line. The mark beneath her collarbone burned black gold. Meryn lifted his hand, voice hard with finality. "And now, the court sees what I prevented. A girl born to open every royal beast. Prison in the kingdom." Elara looked at the chained dragon, then at Queen Isolde, then at Lucien's hand still lifted near hers across the smoke. "No," she said. The necklace opened around her throat like a ring of dark stars. "I was born to reveal who imprisoned them." Veiltar's golden eye blazed, and the hidden chamber beneath the palace split open. The hidden chamber beneath the palace split open, not with stone breaking, with smoke. A black seam ran through the reflective court floor, widening from beneath Elara's trial circle until every noble saw a darkness deeper than any cellar. From it rose the sound of chains dragging over pearl, silver, bone, and old royal names. The smoke pearl necklace burned cold against Elara's throat, each pearl opening like a small black eye. Below the palace, the chamber revealed itself. Rows upon rows of soul jewelry hung from black iron branches, pearl rings, pearl crowns, pearl bracelets, pearl collars, tiny pearl clasps for children's cloaks, each one filled with smoke. Inside them, shapes moved. Wings pressed against curved walls. Claws scraped. Eyes opened. Royal beasts that had belonged to kings, queens, heirs, generals, and inconvenient children stirred at once, sensing the smoke pearl mark beneath Elara's skin. The court recoiled. Meryn spread his arms toward the chamber, as if he had expected horror and was grateful for its arrival. "Look carefully. This is what she wakes. You think one chained dragon is tragedy? There are beasts below that would tear this palace apart for the families that betrayed them. There are wolves who remember murdered heirs, hawks that remember poisoned queens, dragons that remember orders no crown wants repeated." He turned toward Lucien. "I kept them contained because your ancestors were not gentle creatures." Inside the pearl world, Elara felt every chain tug toward her, not all in pain. Some in rage, some in hunger, some in confusion, so old it had become madness. Queen Isolde gripped Elara's hand. "Do not answer all of them. I know, but knowing did not make it easier. Every imprisoned beast below sensed her blood as a door. Every pearl called to the mark at her collarbone. The smoke pearl line had been born to reveal royal beasts trapped inside soul jewelry. But Meryn had arranged the chamber so revelation could become disaster. If Elara opened everything at once, beasts would burst from their names half-starved and furious. The court would call her destroyer. Lucien would be forced to choose between protecting her and protecting the realm. Meryn had built his final argument beneath their feet. Elara pressed her palm against the smoke barrier. Lucien's hand remained opposite hers, separated by a thin wall of dark magic. "Not all," she whispered. The necklace trembled. "Not into me. Not into the hall. Not as vengeance." The pearls dimmed. Meryn's eyes narrowed. Elara lifted her voice so the court could hear. "One beast, one name, one witness." The hidden chamber stilled. Not silent. Listening. Veythar's golden eye blazed beyond the pearl wall. The chain across his chest had cracked. The jaw chain had loosened. But the dragon was still pinned by wings, throat, and the final black-silver line disappearing into the deepest smoke. Lucien looked down into the open chamber. His face was controlled again, but Elara could see the strain behind it. His kingdom had just learned that generations of royal beasts had been locked beneath their feet, and his uncle was still standing with enough authority to turn fear into obedience. "Whose beast first?" Lucien asked. "Not free mine. Not save my dragon. Whose beast first?" Elara's throat tightened. Meryn heard the question and understood its danger. A king asking that was harder to frighten than a king demanding his own restoration. Queen Isolde looked toward the faint chain around her wrist. "No," Elara whispered. "You said not yours yet. Not because I do not matter," Isolde said softly. "Because Meryn will call it sentiment. The queen who pitied a forbidden child. The ward who wants a mother. He will make tenderness look like treason." Elara looked toward Veythar. The dragon lowered his massive head, smoke curling from the muzzle chain. Inside the court, Lucien's half-formed dragon shadow mirrored the movement. "The king's beast," Isolde said. "But not the chain that gives him power. The chain that proves control." Elara understood. She turned to the chain wrapped around Veythar's right wing. It was thinner than the chest chain, but crueler, twisted through the wing joint so tightly that the membrane had scarred around it. The runes on it flickered with repeated command. "Remain, remain, remain." Elara touched the pearl wall. A memory opened. Lucien at 19, standing on the highest palace balcony during a siege. Fire arrows filled the night sky. Below, civilians fled through the lower gates while enemy riders broke through the outer wall. His dragon shadow strained behind him, desperate to fly, not to destroy, but to carry the trapped people beyond the flames. Meryn stood behind him wearing a pearl ring black with smoke. "The king does not risk himself for peasants," Meryn said. Lucien's voice shook. "They are my people. They are replaceable. You are not." Veythar's wing tried to open. The pearl ring flashed. Inside the necklace, the wing chain tightened. Lucien's shadow collapsed. The lower gates burned before help reached them. The memory ended. The court saw it. A silence followed unlike any before it. Not only nobles had watched. Servants stood along the rear wall. Guards. Stable boys. Kitchen women. Men and women whose families might have lived in those lower districts. The horror in their faces could not be dismissed as politics. Lucien's face had gone pale. "I remembered smoke," he said. "Not the choice." Meryn's jaw tightened. "Had you flown into that siege, the throne might have died with you." Lucien looked at him. "People died because you chained my wing." Elara placed both hands against the pearl wall. "Veythar, beast of Lucien Veyr. Right wing bound during the lower gate siege. Mercy stopped by Meryn's soul ring. Not reckless. Restrained." The wing chain cracked. Veythar roared. This time, the sound shook dust from the black glass dome. Lucien's dragon shadow expanded, one wing unfurling behind him in smoke and gold fire. The court gasped, but the wing did not strike. It arched over the trial circle, not to threaten, but to shelter. The cracked chain lashed back toward Elara, but Lucien lifted his hand against the smoke barrier. "Not into her," he said. The chain struck the barrier between them, and split its pain across both palms. Elara cried out. Lucien did too, though he did not move away. For one breath, they shared the force of the broken chain, not as possession, not as bond claim, but as witness held together. The necklace steadied. Inside the pearl world, Isolde exhaled shakily. Good. Mehran saw the court watching Lucien's wing shelter Elara instead of attacking her. He changed tactics. You pity one memory, he said. But what of the beasts with darker ones? What of the royal wolf who murdered 3 heirs when released from grief? What of the hawk that tore out a queen's eyes when it remembered betrayal? Will the smoke pearl heir open those too? Will you let every beast decide which old wound deserves blood? Elara looked into the hidden chamber. Some pearls trembled violently. Mehran was using truth again, twisted but real. Some beasts had been dangerous. Some memories would not return gently. Revelation without order could become slaughter. So Elara answered the only way she could. No beast leaves by rage alone, she said. No chain breaks without name and witness. No soul returns without choice. The smoke pearl necklace pulsed. One pearl after another, dimmed. Not asleep, but waiting. The hidden chamber accepted the law. Mehran's expression hardened into hatred. Then the final black-silver chain connected to Veyr tightened. Lucien stumbled. Inside the pearl world, Veythar's golden eye flared with agony. Elara followed the chain into the deepest smoke. At its end, she saw not Mehran, not a ring, not a staff, a throne, the black dragonbone throne itself. Mehran smiled slowly. At last, he said, the chain you cannot name without breaking the crown. The final chain ran from Veythar's heart to the dragon throne, and every link was carved with Lucien's royal oath. The final chain ran from Veythar's heart to the dragon throne, and every link was carved with Lucien's royal oath. The court understood before Elara did. She saw it in the way nobles stopped breathing, in the way priests lowered their eyes, in the way the guards nearest the throne shifted as if the black dragonbone seat had suddenly become a living beast. The chain was not hidden beneath Mehran's robe, or sealed inside a ring. It was not carried by a staff or clasped around a wrist. It was the throne itself. The heart chain disappeared from Veythar's chest, through the smoke, through the pearls, through the floor, and into the carved black bones beneath Lucien's seat. It glowed with old words spoken at coronation, each link pulsing with the same vow. My fire belongs to the crown. My beast kneels to the crown. My blood burns for the crown. Inside the pearl world, Veythar lowered his massive head. The dragon did not look angry now. That was what broke Elara most. He looked tired. 12 years of fighting a prison built from the very oath meant to bind king and kingdom together had taught him that loyalty could be sharpened into a hook. Queen Isolde's ghost stood very still. Myron tied the last chain to Lucien's vow. Elara's fingers trembled against the pearl wall. If we break it, the court will say he broke faith with the throne. And if we leave it, then Veythar wakes only as far as the crown permits. Outside, Lucien had gone pale beneath the black smoke and gold fire of his half-formed dragon shadow. One wing arched behind him, the other remained tangled in darkness. His eyes stayed fixed on the throne, not with hunger, but with the horror of a man realizing the thing he had served had been built around his own missing soul. Mehran stepped toward him, with quiet confidence returning to his face. There's the truth I protected you from, Majesty. Your dragon was never merely chained by me. It was chained by your own oath. You gave the crown authority over your beast. I only made the vow useful. Lucien's jaw tightened. I was 12. You were king. I was a child. You were a king, Mehran repeated, harder now. The kingdom did not have the luxury of waiting for you to grow gentle. The court shifted uneasily. That argument was old enough to sound like law. A child crowned in blood. A beast too powerful for grief. a throne surrounded by enemies. Meyron had used fear as mortar, and half the court had helped him build. Elara felt the heart chain pulse. Pain crossed Lucien's face. Inside the necklace, Veythor's chest tightened until his claws gouged the pearl floor beneath him. The dragon could not pull against that chain without dragging Lucien's oath with him. Elara pressed both palms to the pearl wall. "Then we do not break the oath." Queen Isolde looked at her sharply. Elara swallowed smoke and fear. "We witness what it was changed into." The necklace listened. One beast, one name, one witness. The pearl around her throat glowed black gold. The heart chain brightened link by link, and a memory opened across the entire black glass court. Lucien's coronation. He stood before the dragon throne as a boy, small beneath a crown made for a dead man. His face was pale. His hands shook. The court knelt before him, but no one looked relieved. They looked afraid. Outside the palace, war horns sounded. Inside, Meyron stood behind him with the smoke pearl necklace hidden beneath his sleeve. The high priest spoke the royal oath. Young Lucien repeated it, voice breaking. "My fire belongs to the crown." Inside the hidden pearl, Veythor thrashed. "My beast kneels to the crown." Meyron's hand closed around the center pearl. "My blood burns for the crown." The pearl filled with smoke, and Meyron whispered a second vow beneath the priest's words. "The beast belongs to the hand that steadies the crown." The memory sharpened. Not everyone heard the whisper that day, but the necklace had, the throne had, Voltar had. The oath split into two meanings, the one Lucien spoke, and the one Meyron tied around his dragon's heart. The vision ended. The court stood silent. Lucien looked at his uncle. "You altered my coronation vow. I completed it. You enslaved it. I preserved the line." Elara lifted her head. Smoke curled from her mouth, but her voice carried. Lucien's oath was to rule, not to be ruled through. The throne chain flared. Meyron snapped. "Do not speak on royal vows." "I am not speaking over them," Elara said. "I am witnessing the words hidden beneath them." Inside the pearl world, Veythor's golden eye burned brighter. Elara placed her hand over the mark beneath her collarbone. The smoke pearl crescent pulsed against her skin. Veythor, beast of Lucien Veyr, heart chained through a coronation vow altered by Meyron Veyr, loyalty twisted into obedience, not oath-breaker, oath-bound by fraud. The heart chain cracked. Lucien gasped and dropped one hand to his chest. The dragon throne split with a sharp black sound. Not in half, only one thin line down the center bone. But the court saw it. Meyron's face emptied. Then the chain lashed back. This time, it did not strike Elara first. It struck Lucien. The king staggered, as black smoke wrapped around his ribs. His half-formed dragon shadow buckled, one wing crashing into the floor behind him. Elara felt the pain through the pearls and reached instinctively toward the smoke barrier. The chain struck her too. A line of cold fire cut across her chest, right over the smoke pearl mark. She fell to one knee inside the necklace, breath torn away. Queen Isolde caught her. "Elara, I'm here," Elara rasped. Outside, Lucien forced himself upright. "Do not take that chain for me." "I am not taking it," she said through clenched teeth. "I am holding the witness." Meyron lifted both hands. "You hear her. She admits it. She holds his oath now." "No," Lucien said. The word shook the hall. He stepped toward the throne. Every movement made the chain tighten around him. His dragon shadow snarled, but Lucien did not stop. He reached the black dragon bone seat and laid his palm on the crack running down its center. "This oath was mine," he said. The heart chain burned. This throne was mine. Smoke poured from the bone, and the choice must be mine. Meyron's voice sharpened. "If you sever that chain, Every lord here will know your crown no longer commands your beast. Lucien looked at the court. For one breath, he was again the boy in the coronation memory, surrounded, watched, measured by men who wanted a king obedient enough to survive them. Then his gaze found Elara through the smoke. She did not ask him to choose her. She did not reach for the throne. She did not claim his dragon. She only stood inside the necklace, wounded by his chain because she refused to let Meyron hide the wound. Lucien turned back to the throne. "Good," he said. The court went still. "My crown should not command my beast." The heart chain shook violently. "My crown should answer for what my beast remembers." Valtar roared. The heart chain cracked wider. Meyron lunged forward. "Majesty, stop!" Lucien looked at him with cold, gold eyes. "No." He drove his hand into the crack in the throne. Black dragonbone cut his palm. Blood, smoke, and gold fire spilled together. The heart chain flared once, bright enough to blind the court. Inside the necklace, Elara placed both hands against the pearl wall and spoke with him. One beast. Lucien's voice joined hers. One name. Queen Isolde lifted her fading hand. One witness. The heart chain shattered. The dragon throne groaned, as if a buried thing had exhaled for the first time. Valtar's chest lifted. Lucien's dragon shadow surged behind him, both wings snapping open in black smoke and gold fire. The court screamed and fell back, but the dragon did not attack. It lowered its massive head over Lucien's shoulder, half returned, scarred by chains, but unmistakably his. Elara smiled through pain. Then, the hidden chamber beneath the floor erupted. Every soul jewel below shook at once. The beasts inside had felt the throne chain break. Rage surged through them, old and starving. Pearls cracked on iron branches. Smoke flooded upward. Meyron's face twisted with grim triumph. "There," he whispered. Now they all won out. The court panicked. Lucien turned toward the opening chamber, Valthar's wings flaring behind him. Elara felt hundreds of trapped beasts pull toward her smoke pearl mark. Too many, too fast. Queen Isolde's grip tightened. "Do not let them make you a door." Elara lifted her head as black smoke filled the court. "No beast leaves unnamed," she said. The necklace blazed. "No soul returns through rage alone." The smoke paused. Barely. Meyron's eyes narrowed. Elara looked down into the hidden chamber, where hundreds of beasts waited inside pearls, claws, and wings, and eyes pressed to curved walls. One beast, one name, one witness. The law rolled through the chamber, pearl by pearl. The smoke steadied. Valthar lowered his head toward Elara. Lucien did the same. For the first time, king, dragon, and smoke pearl heir stood aligned before the court. Then Meyron raised his signet hand one final time. A black ring on his finger split open. Inside it burned the smallest pearl Elara had ever seen. And inside that pearl, something with Queen Isolde's eyes opened in terror. Inside Meyron's black ring, something with Queen Isolde's eyes opened in terror. The court did not understand at first. They saw only the smallest pearl, no larger than a tear, set inside the cracked band on Meyron's finger. It should have been impossible for anything living to fit inside it. Yet smoke churned within the pearl. And behind that smoke, a shape pressed against the curved wall. Not a full dragon, not a wolf, not a bird, but a delicate black-winged creature with a woman's golden eyes and a crown of ash-white flame. Queen Isolde's soul beast. Elara felt Isolde's ghost freeze beside her inside the necklace. For the first time since the trial began, the dead queen looked afraid. Not for Elara, not for Lucien, not for Valthar. For herself. Meyron lifted the ring slowly. "If the smoke pearl heir insists on witness," he said, "let her witness why mercy is dangerous." The little beast inside the pearl struck the glass with tiny black wings. Isolde staggered, as if the blow had landed inside her chest. Elara caught her. "What is it?" Isolde's voice was barely smoke. "My remnant," Lucien went still outside the circle. The word reached him. "Remnant?" he asked. Mehran smiled without warmth. "A queen who hides forbidden children and interferes with royal containment does not die cleanly. I preserved what remained of her loyalty." Lucien's dragon shadow snarled behind him, both wings open now, gold fire licking through black smoke. "You trapped my mother. I kept her from undoing what had to be done." Inside the necklace, Isolde tried to stand. Her form flickered violently, pulled toward the ring. The chain around her wrist glowed, leading straight to Mehran's hand. Elara looked from Isolde to the tiny pearl. One beast, one name, one witness. But Mehran had chosen this chain carefully. If Elara tried to open Isolde's remnant first, he would call it personal grief. If Lucien attacked, he would call it proof that Veyr had woken as a beast of vengeance. If they ignored it, Isolde would remain hostage in his ring. Mehran knew how to make love look like weakness. Elara forced herself to breathe through the cold burn of the necklace. Not by rage. Veiltar's golden eye fixed on heir. Lucien's gaze followed. The court watched, trembling beneath the opened floor and the waking soul jewels below. Elara lifted one hand toward Isolde's chain. "One witness." Mehran's expression sharpened. "The queen's own ward?" "Convenient." "No," Elara said. "Not me." She looked through the smoke toward the court. "To the women she saved." A hush moved through the hall. Mehran's face tightened. The smoke pearl necklace answered before he could speak. 3 pearls along Elara's throat filled with black gold light. Visions rose in the air. Young girls hidden in servant corridors, a burned princess smuggled under ash cloaks, an infant heir carried through storm by Isolde's own hands, a frightened noble child whose beast shadow had begun to appear too early and would have been sealed by Mehran if the queen had not sent her away. Not one saved child. Many. Queen Isolde had not merely pitied Elara. She had been hiding Mehran's targets for years. A woman near the rear of the court stepped forward, older now but with the same scar across her cheek as one girl in the vision. "My brother lived because of Queen Isolde," she whispered. "He had a hawk, beast. Mehran said it would make him treasonous. The queen sent him across the sea." Another voice rose from the servant benches. "My lady's daughter was hidden by the queen." After smoke appeared in her cradle. Then another. "My cousin. My sister. My son." Each witness made Isolde's chain glow brighter, but not tighter. Mehran's jaw flexed. Elara spoke carefully. "Queen Isolde Veyr, mother of Lucien, protector of forbidden beast, blood children, soul, remnant trapped in Mehran's ring, not traitor, witnessed." The black ring cracked. Mehran's hand yarkil. Inside the pearl, the tiny black-winged beast struck the wall again. This time, a hairline fracture opened across its prison. Isolde Gaspel. Her ghost form brightened beside Elara, but the cracked ring lashed back. A black chain snapped from Mehran's hand through the air, past Lucien, through the smoke barrier, and into the pearl world. It wrapped around Elara's wrist. Pain burned up her arm. Lucien moved instantly. Veyr moved with him, but Elara shook her head once. "No." He stopped. Barely. The restraint shook through his whole body. Mehran smiled. "See how quickly she commands you?" Lucien's voice turned cold. "She stopped me from doing what you wanted me to do." The court heard. The accusation lost some of its teeth. Elara gripped the black chain on her wrist. Inside the pearl world, Isolde placed her hand over Elara's. "Do not carry my remnant," the queen whispered. "I won't." Elara looked at the ring. "Return where you belong." The smoke pearl necklace pulsed. The tiny pearl in Mehran's ring cracked wider. Isolde's soul beast flowed out as black smoke and ash-white flame. For one moment it hovered above Mehran's hand, small and furious and heartbreakingly beautiful. Then it flew not into Elara, not into Lucien, not into Veyr. into Queen Isolde's ghost. The queen cried out. Her smoke form became whole, not alive, not flesh, but no longer divided. The court saw her now, Queen Isolde standing inside the necklace vision, black-winged soul, beast folded against her back, eyes bright with grief and royal fire. Lucien's face broke, only for one breath. Mother. Isolde looked at him through the smoke. My son. The word nearly undid the hall. Then Mehran crushed the broken ring in his fist. Blood spilled between his fingers. The black chain around Elara's wrist tightened violently, and every soul jewel in the hidden chamber flared in response. Mehran's calm was gone. If you return one remnant, all of them will demand return. Elara's voice shook. Then they will wait their turn. You cannot make starved beasts patient. No, Lucien said, stepping beside the trial circle, with Veythar's wings burning behind him. But we can make the court witness why they starved. The smoke pearl necklace blazed. Below, one soul jewel rose from the hidden chamber without Elara touching it. A pearl crown, blackened with smoke. Inside it, a chained wolf with silver antlers lifted its head. Mehran's face went pale. Elara understood at once. This was not random. The necklace had chosen the next witness. The pearl crown floated above the opened floor, turning slowly until the court saw the royal crest carved along its rim. A dead prince's crown. Lucien's father's crown. The beast inside it pressed antlered wolf horns against the pearl wall. Isolde whispered, Your father's beast. Lucien stared at the crown, as if it had risen from his grave. Mehran backed away. For the first time, he looked genuinely afraid. No, he said. Elara lifted her bloodied wrist. One beast. One name. One witness. The pearl crown cracked open with smoke, and the murdered king's beast began to show the night Lucien's father died. The pearl crown floated above the opened floor, like a grave remembering how to breathe. Smoke poured from its cracked rim in slow black ribbons, curling beneath the high glass dome of the Dragon Court. Inside the crown, the antlered wolf beast lifted its head, silver horns scraping against the pearl wall. Its eyes were not gold like Veythar's. They were pale blue, the color of winter dawn over a battlefield. Lucien could not move. For 12 years he had been told his father died in a border assassination. A rival blade in the dark, a dead king, a grieving boy, and an uncle who stepped forward to keep the throne from collapsing. That story had shaped his reign like a cage shaped a bird, invisible from the outside, absolute from within. Now his father's beast stared out from a pearl crown in Mehran's hidden chamber, alive enough to witness, trapped enough to accuse. Mehran backed away from it, one step at a time. That crown is unstable. Elara stood inside the pearl world with the black chain still burning around her wrist. Queen Isolde stood beside her, whole at last in smoke and ash-white flame, her soul beast folded against her back like small, dark wings. Unstable, Isolde said, and sorrow sharpened her voice. That is what he calls anything that remembers. Lucien's dragon shadow spread behind him, Veythar's half-returned wings casting black gold light across the court. Open it. Mehran turned on him. Majesty, I beg you to think. If your father's beast wakes in this hall, it will carry the last rage of a murdered king. Lucien's jaw tightened. Then let it carry the truth, too. The smoke pearl necklace pulsed at Elara's throat. One beast, one name, one witness. Elara looked at Isolde. What was his name? The queen's face changed. Love and grief moved through her like smoke through a broken window. Arvith, she whispered, silver-antlered wolf of King Veyr, the beast he inherited from his mother's northern line. The court never liked that he carried wolf, blood with dragon blood. Elara pressed her bleeding wrist to the pearl wall. Arvith, beast of King Veyr, trapped in his crown, witnessed by Queen Isolde, witnessed by his son. The pearl crown cracked wider. A vision spilled across the court. The night Lucien's father died was not a corridor ambush. It was a council chamber. King Orin stood beside the black dragonbone throne, sword drawn, blood already darkening his sleeve. Behind him, Arvith's antlered wolf shadow snarled at a circle of men in court robes. Mehron stood among them, younger, pale, and furious. Orin's voice filled the hall. No more soul jewelry, no more sealed heirs, no more beasts hidden because they embarrass bloodlines. A counselor spat. You would let beasts rule men. Orin raised his sword. No, I would let kings answer to the souls they claim. Mehron stepped forward with the smoke pearl necklace in his hands. You will tear the realm apart for sentiment, he said. Orin looked at his brother with such grief that even the vision seemed to dim. No, Mehron, you already did. Then Arvith lunged. Not at Mehron. At the pearl necklace. The wolf beast knew what it was. Mehron opened the center pearl. Black smoke burst outward. The council attacked. Orin fought like a king, but the smoke wrapped around Arvith's horns, throat, and heart. The wolf beast howled as it was dragged into the crown Orin wore. When the beast vanished, Orin staggered. Mehron caught him in his arms. For one terrible moment, they looked like brothers again. Then Mehron drove a pearl dagger beneath Orin's ribs. The court watched the old king fall. Mehron whispered into his ear. A dead king cannot release what he regrets. The vision shattered. The pearl crown rang like struck bone. No one in the present spoke. Lucien stood as still as death. Then he turned toward Mehron. You killed him. Mehron's face had gone white, but his voice held. I saved the realm from his weakness. You killed my father. He would have freed every beast beneath this palace. He would have freed yours too, Isolde said through the necklace. The words changed Mehron's expression. Only slightly, but enough. Elara saw it. So did Lucien. Mehron's hand closed over the empty place where his black ring had been. I have no beast. Isolde's gaze hardened. Not anymore, the smoke pearl necklace answered. Far below, in the hidden chamber, something moved in the deepest row of soul jewelry. A small pearl brooch rose from the black iron branches. It was dull, almost gray, pinned to a strip of old child's velvet. Mehron's eyes widened. No, the brooch floated upward through smoke. Inside it, something small beat against the pearl. Not dragon, not wolf, but a thin, pale serpent with wings like torn glass. Its body was wrapped around itself in a knot so tight it could barely lift its head. Elara understood with sudden cold clarity. Mehron had not been born without a beast. He had sealed his own first. The brooch showed a memory before anyone named it. Young Mehron, maybe 8 years old, standing in a training yard while older boys laughed. A pale winged serpent shadow flickered behind him, fragile and strange compared to the roaring dragons and wolves of the royal house. A courtmaster frowned. That is no war beast. A boy beside him said, It looks like a frightened worm. Young Mehron looked at the creature. Shame hardened in his eyes. The memory shifted. Mehron, older, barely 15, pressing the little serpent shadow into a pearl brooch with his own hands, while tears streaked his face. I will not be ruled by a weak thing, he whispered. I will become what beasts fear. The vision vanished. The hall was silent in a different way now. Not forgiveness. Understanding. The most dangerous lies often began, as wounds no one healed. Elara looked at Mehron, and for the first time she saw the child buried under the man who had buried everyone else. You chained yourself, she said. Mehron's face twisted. I mastered myself. No, Lucien said, voice low. You punished the kingdom for the beast you were taught to hate. Mehron lifted his hands, shaking with rage. And what would you have had me do? Let every royal beast follow its wound? Let kings burn cities because dragons grieve? Let queens hide forbidden children because their soul beasts purr at the wrong blood? Beasts are not wisdom. They are hunger with wings. Valtar snarled behind Lucien. Lucien did not. He stood very still, and that control was more powerful than fury. "You are right about one thing," he said. The court turned toward him in alarm. Lucien looked at the hidden chamber below, at the trembling pearls, at the beasts waiting inside smoke and memory. A beast can be dangerous. Merrin's breath slowed, hope flickering. Lucien continued. So can a throne. So can fear. So can men who call control protection. The hope died. Elara lifted her chained wrist. No beast leaves by rage alone. No soul returns without name, witness, and choice. The necklace blazed. The law moved through the chamber again, stronger now that the court had seen Oren's murder, as old as Remnant, Vaelthar's chains, and Merron's first self-burial. The hidden soul jewels steadied. One by one, their smoke dimmed from violent black to waiting gray. The pearl crown cracked fully. Arvith emerged in silver smoke and pale blue fire. He did not become flesh. He did not attack Merron. He flowed toward the place where King Oren's name had been carved at the base of the throne, and settled there, antlers lowered in witness. Lucien bowed his head. "Father," he whispered. Arvith's eyes softened. Then the silver-antlered beast turned toward Merron, not lunging, naming. Black smoke formed words across the floor. Brother, murderer, jailer. Merron's knees bent slightly. For the first time, the royal uncle looked as if the weight of his own story had found him. Then he made his final choice. He tore the pearl brooch from the air and crushed it against his chest. The pale-winged serpent inside screamed. Black smoke burst from Merron's body, swallowing his robes, his hands, his face. The hidden chamber exploded with answering force. Every soul jewel below shook violently. The waiting beasts panicked as Merron's broken self-chain pulled at their prisons. Isolde shouted, "He is making himself the master clasp." Elara felt the smoke pearl necklace tighten around her throat. Lucien's throne chain was broken, but Merron was creating a new lock with his own flesh. If he completed it, every beast prison would answer to him forever. Merron's voice came from inside the smoke, doubled with the shriek of the serpent he had hated. If beasts require witness, then let them witness obedience. The pearls around Elara's throat turned black. Valtar roared. Lucien reached for the trial circle. Elara pressed both hands to the pearl wall and spoke before the smoke swallowed her mouth. "Witness him." The court froze. Elara's voice shook, but carried, not as uncle, not as protector, not as monster only. Witness the first beast he buried, and every prison he built after. Lucien understood first. He turned to the court, dragon shadow blazing behind him. "Speak what you saw." No one moved. Merron's smoke spread toward the hidden chamber. Lucien's voice thundered. "Speak, or every soul jewel beneath this palace becomes his throne." Queen Isolde lifted her head inside the necklace. "I witness Merron's theft of Vaelthar." A servant woman near the back cried. "I witness the queen's hidden children." A guard shouted, "I witness King Oren's murder." Another voice rose. "I witness the lower gate siege." Then another. "I witness the altered oath." One by one, the court began to speak. Not all bravely, not all cleanly, but enough. Witness struck Merron's smoke like gold fire through black cloth. Elara felt the necklace loosen. Vaelthar's chains cracked together. The hidden chamber shook. Merron screamed, and inside that scream, the pale-winged serpent cried like a child locked away for too long. Elara reached toward that sound, not to save Merron from justice, to save the truth from becoming him. "Name it," she whispered. The serpent lifted its tiny head inside the smoke. Its name came like a broken breath. Syrinx. Elara spoke it before Merron could swallow it again. Syrinx, first beast of Lucien Veyr, sealed by shame, twisted into master clasp, not weakness, buried. The smoke split open, and Merron's final lock began to break. Meron's final lock began to break. Not all at once. Not beautifully. It cracked the way old lies cracked, when too many witnesses pressed truth against them. First a thin gold line through black smoke, then another, until the darkness swallowing the court split into burning seams. Inside that smoke, the pale-winged serpent twisted against Meron's chest. Syrinx, the name, changed everything. The creature was not grand like Veyr, not fierce like Arvith, not terrible enough to frighten armies or crown kings. It was small, thin, half-transparent, with glass-like wings and a body coiled around a wound that had lived longer than mercy. Yet when Elara spoke its name, the hidden chamber beneath the palace stopped shaking. Every trapped soul beast turned toward it, not in worship, in recognition. The first beast, Meron buried, the wound from which all the prisons grew. Meron clawed at his own chest, trying to crush the serpent back into silence. No. Elara stood inside the pearl world, with the smoke pearl necklace burning black gold around her throat. The chain on her wrist had loosened, but smoke still curled through her fingers. Queen Isolde stood beside her, whole now in ghost and remnant, her dark wings folded close. Do not pity him into freedom, Isolde warned softly. Elara looked at Meron through the pearl wall. I won't. Pity was not pardon. Witness was not excuse. She lifted her hand toward Syrinx's trembling shape. Syrinx, first beast of Meron Veyr, sealed by shame, used as the root of the master clasp, witnessed by the court. Lucien's voice joined from outside the circle. Witnessed by the king. Veythar's half-returned dragon shadow lowered its head behind him, smoke and gold fire streaming from its wings. The court followed. One voice, then another, reluctant and shaken. Witnessed, witnessed, witnessed. The word struck the smoke around Meron like small blades of light. Syrinx screamed. This time, not in pain. In release, the serpent tore free from Meron's chest and hovered in the air, frail wings beating once, twice, 3 times. Meron collapsed to one knee. Without the beast he had hated, hidden, and twisted into a clasp, the black smoke lost its center. The hidden chamber stopped obeying him. Every soul jewel below dimmed from violent black to waiting pearl gray. The smoke pearl necklace loosened around Elara's throat. For the first time since Meron placed it there, she could breathe without pain. But Veythar was not free yet. The dragon still lay beneath the palace, chains cracked but not fully broken. The throat chain, jaw chain, chest chain, wing chain, throne chain, all had been named, fractured, weakened, yet fragments remained. Linked to the necklace itself, Meron laughed from the floor, breathless and ruined. You think naming a wounded serpent frees a dragon? Soul jewelry always keeps a last clasp. Elara felt it then. The final clasp was not on Veythar. It was around her throat. The necklace had opened like a key, but it was still the lock's mouth. If it broke violently, every soul inside its memory could scatter. If it stayed, Veythar would remain half-returned, always tethered to the pearls that had displayed his prison. Lucien saw the realization on her face. No, he said. The word was soft. Terrified, Elara looked at him through the smoke barrier. It needs a witness from the living side and the pearl side. We have that. It needs choice from the one who wore the clasp. Lucien's face hardened. You did not choose to wear it. No, Elara said. But I can choose how it opens. Queen Isolde gripped her wrist. Elara, do not become the necklace. I won't. She looked at the 21 pearls glowing around her throat. Each held a reflection now. Veythar's golden eye, Isolde's remnant, Arvith's antlered wolf, Syrinx's fragile wings, and hundreds of waiting beasts below. Not one of them deserved to be ripped from one prison into another. Elara pressed both hands to the center pearl. One beast, she whispered. Veythar's eye opened inside it. One name, Lucien stepped to the edge of the circle and placed his palm against the smoke barrier opposite hers. "One witness," he said. The pearl cracked, gold fire burst from it, but Elara held steady. Pain ran from the necklace down her spine, through the smoke pearl mark beneath her collarbone, and into the pearl world beneath her feet. The necklace offered her power, then terrible, easy power. She could open every prison at once. She could make every noble who had benefited from soul jewelry kneel under the beasts they had feared. She could make Marin's system collapse in one beautiful act of vengeance. Instead, she breathed, "No soul returns through rage alone." The necklace trembled. No beast leaves unnamed. The pearls spun slowly around her throat, no longer choking but orbiting like dark moons. No heir becomes a door without choice. The final clasp opened. Voltar ruward. The roar did not break the court. It remade the silence. Black smoke and gold fire erupted from the smoke pearl necklace, surged through the trial circle, plunged into the hidden chamber beneath the floor, and returned carrying the shape of the royal dragon. Veyr rose behind Lucien in full shadow and flame, enormous wings spreading beneath the black glass dome. His jaws were free, his chest lifted, his wings opened without chains. Lucien staggered as the dragon returned to him, not as weapon, not as obedient shadow, as Soul. He fell to one knee, one hand against his heart, and for the first time, the court heard the Dragon King make a sound that was neither command nor anger. It was grief. Veyr lowered his massive head until his brow touched Lucien's shoulder. Gold fire wrapped around them both. The court sank down, some kneeling from fear, some from awe, some because the truth had finally made standing feel impossible. Elara's necklace fell open. The pearls did not scatter. They floated from her throat and rose into the air, forming a circle of smoke-filled moons above the trial floor. Each pearl waited, no longer a prison clasp, but a witness vessel. Elara touched her throat. The skin was bruised, free. The smoke pearl mark beneath her collarbone glowed softly, no longer burning. Marin looked up from where the guards had finally surrounded him. His face was gray with disbelief. Syrinx hovered above his shoulder, small and shaking, not returning to him, not abandoning him fully, simply waiting at a distance he had earned. "You will ruin the kingdom," Marin rasped. Lucien rose slowly, Veythar's full shadow behind him. "No, I will learn what you buried under it. There are beasts below that should never return. Then they will be witnessed carefully. They will hate you. Some should." The answer struck the court harder than pride would have. Lucien turned toward the opened chamber. The soul jewelry vault is no longer under the royal uncle's authority. No beast will be released without name, witness, and choice. No heir, child, queen, king, or ward will be sealed for convenience, shame, grief, or political obedience. The floating pearls brightened. The law entered them. Queen Isolde's form began to fade inside the pearl world, but this time not from erasure, from completion. Lucien saw it. Mother. Her ghost looked at him with the sorrowful peace of a woman who had waited 12 years to see her son whole. "You have your beast back," she said. His voice broke quietly. "And you?" "I have my name, my remnant, my witness." Her gaze moved to Elara. "And the child I saved has become what Marin feared most." Elara's throat tightened. "A door?" Isolde smiled. "A choice." Then the queen dissolved into black gold smoke, not trapped, not torn apart, but carried into the circle of pearls above the court as a witness light. Marin was dragged to his feet. Lucien faced him. For a moment, nephew and uncle stood across the shattered trial circle. The king whose beast had been stolen, and the man who had called theft protection for so long, he had forgotten the difference. "Marin Veyr," Lucien said, "you are stripped of regency, authority, soul, law, command, and all claim over royal transformation rights. Meyron lifted his chin. Execution, then? Elara stepped forward before Lucien could answer. The court turned to her. She was still in the pale trial gown, still bruised at the throat, still shaking from chains that had used her body as witness. But the necklace no longer owned her, and the floating pearls brightened when she spoke. "No," she said. "Witness." Meyron's eyes narrowed. That word frightened him more than death. Elara looked down into the hidden chamber. "You built a kingdom of sealed beasts. You will stand before each name as it is heard. Vaelthar, Arvith, Isolde, Syrinx. Every beast hidden in pearl, ring, crown, collar, and clasp. You will answer for each prison you called protection." Lucien nodded. "At dawn, the first soul, jewel hearing begins." The guards took Meyron away. Syrinx followed at a distance, its glass wings trembling, not as forgiveness, but as the first truth Meyron would have to face. When the doors closed, the court did not cheer. It did not know how. For too long, it had mistaken silence for safety, and absence for order. Now the floor was split open, the hidden chamber exposed. The Dragon King's beast returned, and the girl they had dressed for a clean punishment stood beneath floating smoke pearls like a living verdict. A noble lord finally spoke. "And what is she now?" The question moved through the hall. False princess had failed. Smoke vessel had failed. Forbidden blood had failed. Now the court wanted a new name to put around her throat. Lucien looked at Elara. He did not answer for her. That, more than Vaelthar's wings, made something inside her steady. Elara lifted her chin. "Elara Voss, smoke, pearl heir, ward of Queen Isolde, witness of soul beasts." She paused, feeling the truth settle into her bones. "Not a vessel, not a clasp, not yours to use." The floating pearls glowed in agreement. Lucien stepped toward her, slowly, carefully. No smoke barrier stopped him now, but he stopped anyway an arm's length away. "Elara," he said, voice low. "May I?" He did not reach for her throat. He reached for her hand. The difference nearly undid her. She looked at his offered palm, then at Vaelthar's enormous shadow behind him. The dragon watched her with the same golden eye she had seen inside the pearl. No longer prisoner, no longer afraid to trust. Elara placed her hand in Lucien's. By choice, his fingers closed around hers with careful strength, not claiming the heir who had freed his beast, not taking the key into the throne's possession, holding the woman who had refused to become a door without a choice. Together, they walked out of the shattered trial circle. Above them, the 21 smoke pearls floated into a new shape over the court. Not a necklace, not a noose, but a ring of witnesses. Below them, the hidden chamber remained open, its soul jewels dim and waiting, no longer screaming to escape all at once. There would be work after dawn, names to return, beasts to witness, royal crimes to record, children to find before their shadows were sealed. A kingdom to teach that control was not the same as peace. At the threshold of the black glass court, Lucien paused beside her. "When Vaelthar looked at you," he said quietly, "he did not see a vessel." Elara looked up at him. "What did he see?" Lucien's eyes softened, only slightly, but enough. The first person who called him by name without wanting to own him. Elara felt the smoke pearl mark warm beneath her skin. Outside, dawn touched the palace towers, turning black glass gold. Beneath the floor, the hidden chamber breathed not with panic now, but with waiting. Above the throne, Vaelthar spread his wings, and for the first time in 12 years, the Dragon King's shadow was whole. Elara Voss had entered the court as a hidden princess, forced to wear a necklace meant to prove her blood false. She left as the last smoke pearl heir, the girl who revealed the Dragon King's chained beast, returned Vaelthar's name, exposed the uncle who turned souls into jewelry, and proved that love was not possession, obedience, or containment. It was the courage to witness what had been chained, and let it choose how to return.